why Jesus came to earth. It was originally supposed to be a comic book style, but because I'm just the purveyor of the information given, I don't know if I can get my buddy to make it into a comic book. So we're just going to have to deal with the true story of why Jesus came to earth. And it was because God wanted to see what happened to his chosen people. His chosen people, he found out, had been infiltrated by child molesters, which is why they started circumcising their young. A lot of people told me not to tell this story. They said it might get you killed, or they might try and circumcise you. And I said, some people think I'm Jewish and stuff, but really, if I was, then I would just be a Christian, because that's what happened to all Jews that believed in Jesus Christ as the Messiah. They became Christians and not Jews. Anyway, and that's the difference between a Christian Jew and a Jew that's circumcised, is they're not circumcised, because Jesus came and said, well, it's not proper to honor a tradition that was only started to cover up child molestation, because if there's no evidence, it's cleaner, they say. Because of these truths, those Jews didn't recognize Jesus Christ as the Messiah. And that is evidence in the fact that they still don't. They said he was a prophet, but not the Messiah. And since he is the Messiah, and that is why it really does make a difference. So, God said, why would you lessen what I gave you by becoming less of yourself? If you weren't meant to have it, you wouldn't have been born with it. Choice is everything. Choose 23 in me. That's if you still want to at 23 years old, you can. But before then, you should have to sign some sort of special paperwork. And only if you wanted to, so you could beat yourself up later on when you thought, oh, maybe that was a mistake, and not take it out on anybody else, because you would like yourself a lot better if you gave them the choice, and they would like you as well. And I said, I'm not going to be afraid of people who bully children, okay? Or, mutilate children or molest children. I'm not going to be. So, in a way, telling these truths is not that difficult for me. Jesus Christ came to earth because he wanted to find out what happened to his chosen people. God's chosen people, the Jews. When he found out that in order to stop people from finding out what happened to kids, because that's how people find out that their children have been touched usually, or that they did it to themselves, was when their foreskin gets pulled back. But if it's not there, they don't find out, which is the only reason people started circumcising their kids. Otherwise, some people run into an issue when they get older where it feels like it's too tight or something and it rips a lot. But there's a counterintuitive method of solving this that involves non-harming yourself and actually involves learning a way to prevent harm from coming to yourself. You don't lose anything. The steps that people take to alleviate a future problem, supposedly, in the youth, as opposed to the real reason that I said earlier, is too drastic of a measure. It actually involves harming and taking something away. But the intuitive method of not harming yourself and learning how to prevent yourself from tearing is a much more healing method of preventing harm and tearing of your foreskin. Because I discovered another method besides circumcision that you discover basically by learning to not hurt, that is much more and less harmful and natural, more natural.